to be fun. So I'm so happy to be here today with Henry Veloso, who is here joining us. He is very talented in many different areas, but today we're going to be focusing on his music career as a bassist, right? As a composer, a producer, and just a creator of a lot of magical music. And I'm so happy to be sitting here because Henry and I, we know each other from a long time ago, from the world of advertising. And I'm just going to allow this to flow because there's a lot of topics that I want to touch on, but I want to just ground us all into this moment, into this soup, this energy field of creativity. Because Henry, what would you say creativity is to you?
Creativity is, for me in particular, is the essence of everything. I don't think that if you gave me two choices, right? One is, Henry, we're going to deprive you of oxygen, and the other one is deprive you of creativity. I would say you can take the oxygen, because and some people say that, oh, I don't have a creative bone in my body, which is not true at all. I think everybody is equally creative. It just depends on how they apply it. You know what I mean? Like you're being creative right now, for example. You're, us talking, you coming up with the topics and the questions, you coming up with this whole idea of this really cool podcast. This is all creativity in play. So it's not, I'm not trying to play it up or down as much as it is incumbent. It is pervasive. That's it. It's like the air we breathe.
I love that because that's exactly the way that you explained it is that we all have this energy in us that is activated, whether we turn it on or off. And like you say, I think for me, creativity is this connection with our higher spirit, with another part of ourselves that perhaps we're not so comfortable or it's not normalized to connect, right? But when you go into this field, do you see this from a spiritual perspective where you are getting and receiving kind of this creativity? How does this exist in you?
I don't think about it like that all the time. That said, remember Columba?
Yeah.
Our friend Columba, right? The other day, a couple of months ago, like we were talking about, she was being really cool and giving me a compliment on a song that I had just put out. And she goes, Henry, this has a nice melody. How did you come up with that? I was like, I have no idea. It just came. I was messing around, playing here maybe, or sitting out in my couch playing the guitar, and the melody just popped in my head, and I went with it. It's like it was already there. It was like there the whole time. And then right then and there, after we stopped talking, obviously, I didn't get into this whole thing with her. And then I thought, yeah, where does that stuff come from? You know what I mean? And I'm not religious, I'm not going to get into religious, controversial topics here. Don't worry. But I do believe that there's a higher energy, higher power. Sometimes jokingly, but not jokingly, I tell people that George Lucas had it right. Like it's the force.
Yeah.
There's something there. It's not man-made. You know what I mean? And it's not a belief. It just is. It's kind of like we were just talking about creativity being something that just is, that we have to use all the time. Sometimes that's how it comes out. That's how it flows. That's how it arrives.
Flows through us.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Because right now, I feel like considering how society, we're so tapped into so much forms of creativity, right? I feel that it can be overwhelming to find your voice in this soup of creativity. How do you think that? Do you have to silence yourself from all of this noise of what's kind of out there for you to connect to your inner creativity, or?
Quite the contrary. I open myself to everything, including things, especially things, I should say, that I'm normally not inclined to look for.
Okay.
I read, and actually a cool mentor of mine in an ad agency, DDB, a long time ago, he used to he told me he used to drive to work every day. That's why he was probably late like a half an hour all the time. He used to drive a different route every day and to try to see something different. I tried that. The problem is I'm a Taurus, and we're used to like,
Gotta get there. Gotta get.
we like things formulaic. I hate being late or that kind of thing. So I try to swim against that particular stream, like I was just talking about, and try to be exposed to as much different things that I can. And then you just activate your own personal taste, right? Okay, I'm not into that. I'm into this. I'm into that, blah, blah, blah. And ooh, that's new. I didn't know about that before. So, well, no, I'll keep watching more of that. Blah, blah. And then, the advent of YouTube and other social platforms, I think that stuff is fantastic. I mean, it's giving you and me a chance to do this.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like we go back way long enough where this, we used to imagine, one day we're going to be able to like watch a video of each other talking.
Oh my God, Henry, can I just
I'm
say
old enough to remember that.
This is like in my 20s, right? And I remember for my birthday, because we were all a big group in an ad agency. I mean, we'll talk a little bit about that. So, and we were all a group of friends. And for my birthday, you got me my first iPod. My first little iPod that had all these songs in there. Yes.
Oh, shit. Yeah.
That was like, I told the kids that. I'm like, can you imagine, like, for us, that was like such a huge, exciting thing to be able to carry like thousands of tracks in this one little thing. And like, right? So like, that's how far back. That's amazing.
Yeah. And like I said, that the being able to talk to each other on a phone, on a screen like this, looking at each other's image from across the world. I mean, you're in Austria, for God's sake. I'm in the US, so it's that was an unimaginable. Like, no, that's science fiction stuff. That's going to happen like maybe, another 100 years from now. Like, here we are, So wait, did you hear that? That was a flying car that just went by. No,
I know, that's coming. Oh my God, I know. And for the accounts that we worked on, like, can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Like the cellular phone.
Yeah.
That was so crazy. That's amazing.
That was the norm. Like calls dropping.
Norm. Right. So the advancement is there. And I feel like that's like what I wanted to touch on too, is that you still do work in advertising. And so you have like the lens of a marketer, right? And how to touch with the external world, or how to sell products. And then you have this amazing music production that you do. And we're going to kind of like weave in and out of those two places, because creativity is the overall theme, I think, that I'm going in. And for me, this is like kind of just intuitive, this talk. So I don't really have like a set of things of questions, because I want it just to be raw. And actually what I wanted to say is I want this to be like a jam session, like an improv jam session. We don't really know where it's going, that we're just like connecting and seeing like what wants to come out.
Good analogy.
Right? I was like, that's actually how I wanted to start it. But anyway, I did have that in mind, because I'm like, it's true. So like Henry, yeah, from this perspective of creativity, from a marketing perspective, does that affect how you produce music from a passion perspective?
It's weird. It's a great question, because especially lately, but having known music or played music or learned and played in bands and did some touring, and now like producing my own stuff, blah blah blah, doing that, I'm having to not just compose, but also produce and spend a lot of time in front of the computer, and then design all the art. And then, and nowadays, like we were talking about with all the social stuff, like do all the marketing and advertise, you know what I mean? Like boost ads in Instagram, do this in YouTube, do that in Facebook, do that in TikTok, right? So now more than ever, those worlds are interweaving, I guess is the right word, right? They're connected, because not to a huge degree, but I've also had to do a lot of music for commercials and advertising, some of which I was working on, and some of which I did music and stuff like that for other people. I don't do as much of that, but in the ad world, as you probably remember, I come up with campaigns and ads or just flat out design things like websites and things like that, right? And my knowledge of audio and production and things like that has saved some clients' asses. Can we say ass?
Of course.
Has saved some people's asses like in a big way in the past couple of years, right?
Wow.
Because now more than ever, people are recording things like this. So what happens a lot is the audio shit. You know, so then like, what do we do now? We got this great commentary from this doctor, from this patient, from this client, but we can't use it because the audio is crap. I'm like, well, let me take a listen to it. I'm like, okay, I can make that work. And then they listen back to it later. It's like, how did you do that? You know what I mean?
Right.
I was like, well, it's easy. You use a compression, you use a EQ, you boost the signal a little bit, the noise, the whole thing.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, so audio has become really important overall.
Yeah.
Just audio. And music, yeah. But so they're connected, and like I said, having to design and prepare all the advertising, all the promotional material, it still takes a lot of money. And this is where like in the old days, like a record company would give you a couple $1,000,000 just to advertise stuff. Totally gambling on whether or not you're going to be famous, what I mean, and get their money back. They would rape you for the rights to the music or whatever else, but like, somewhat rightfully so, because, they're giving you a bunch of money, so they got to make it back. You know what I mean? Nowadays, the cool thing about like Spotify, which I forgot to mention about the somewhat social thing, is allowing people like me to put their music out there.
Yeah.
There's avenues where like more and more indie artists are able to put their music out there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Promoting it and making it popular and getting millions of people to listen to it, that's a whole different monster, right? That's where one would miss the old money from a record company.
Right.
So
yeah.
So I try to put in a little bit of money to promote the stuff, but yeah, to your point, to your question, is the whole thing is kind of, not kind of, like very intertwined, very connected in more ways than people will probably give it credit.
Yeah. And I think also, I'm going to be playing some of your music. I thought we could focus on like 3 or 4 of your tracks, what you have, because I had invited Henry to tap into the music career. And as I dove deeper, I just recognized there was, for me, so much spiritual symbolism or introspection philosophy, which I think is definitely is its own niche, right? And the creative world and advertising is more like for the bigger market. But what I see, and correct me if I'm wrong, but is your passion is really this deep inner reflective thinking. What do you have like these particular themes that you think of before you create your tracks, or is this just kind of like a common thread of who you are?
Another wonderful question. I understand you don't have them prepared, but Jesus Christ.
I don't.
Like, you don't have it. You're kidding me. Yeah,
see, I'm like just intuitively connecting.
That's good. That's good. Great question. Like I said, the short answer is yes. Like, I think every time a melody descends from the higher power, from the force, joking and not joking at the same time, right? At least with me, I don't know if this is the case with other musicians, but at least with me, I imagine a topic, or I imagine our stories already forming in my head of like, a kid going about things, or somebody building something, or something that happened to somebody, or a specific point of view, but there's a story like starting to happen. It's almost like you're imagining a video that goes with it automatically, sort of thing. Is that making sense at all? Or
is it something personal to you, or are you just thinking outside? Like, let's start with the song. I was thinking to go from Fate, right? We have Fate, and then
Fate is great. Fate is a great example because with Fate, I started with the chords and the structure of the song first. So I had this whole production already done. And the singer, her name is Janine Hayden. She is
Beautiful.
equally creative monster. I mean, she is amazing. Not just a great singer, but a creative partner in, I'd say, a good 60+% of my material.
Oh, wow.
Especially because, like, sometimes when I do stuff, after a while, and then I compose a melody, I compose this, and it feels very incestuous, right? I don't like having it all of me all the time. I want to listen to other things other than just me, when I listen to my stuff, and Janine is a godsend. You know what I mean? Like,
Awesome.
if there is a God, she's was sent by him or her. You know what I mean? And so I go up to her and I say, yeah, Janine, look, I have this idea. I have a rough melody, but I don't want to sing it to you because I don't want to taint your creativity. I want to leave it blank canvas.
Okay.
And she goes, why do you call it fate? And I'm like, great question, because I believe in fate is what we put in is what we're going to get out, right? With everything, right? I could say something really bad right now and get a reaction from you. I could say something really nice and get so what we put in, we get out. That's pretty much the big picture. You know what I mean? I think with life, what we put in, the hard work, the intent, the good nature of things, being positive, we get out. We get that back somehow. It may take a little while in some cases, but we get that out. So and the cool thing about Janine is that she'll look at you like this, but then when you bring up like the stories like this, like a topic or what we want to, her eyes go. And when you see her eyes do this, I know in a couple of days I'm going to get some amazing shit. You know what I mean?
That's awesome.
And that was pretty much the case with the song, and a handful of other ones that we worked on. I always stop at some point and go, let me see what Janine thinks about this, because again, 9 times out of 10, I'm going to have her sing it, and like a couple of other songs that I have, including the one I just released a little while ago, was in Portuguese. So unfortunately, she doesn't speak Portuguese, so I had to get a different singer. But most of the time, I just love her voice so much. So that's pretty much how it happens. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. And I mean, the lyrics are so powerful. It's aligned kind of with when I see it from my perspective as like an energetic perspective, or understanding our intuition, or intention, how important intention is. Obviously, like you're saying, the gist of what I got from it was like that you have to participate in your destiny, and it's not just like handed to you. So that's always like this question: is it fate? Is it destined? Or am I involved in creating my destiny, right? That would be.
It might be, I'm. Who am I? You know what I mean? But it might be a combination of both. But I believe, I think that we have a lot that goes into it, right? Because so many things are out of our control. I think part of fate, a good percentage of it, is stuff that is going to happen whether you did something or not. You know what I mean? Like you could be driving down a road and a car pulls out of nowhere and hits you. I mean, you don't have control of that, right? I mean, that's control that's happening over there, like somewhere else. Okay, but if you drank good coffee that morning, and and you're alert, you're not drunk, whatever, and you're paying attention, you might be able to avoid that. That's your part of the deal, and that's your half or part of the fate that you can control, and that's what I'm kind of talking about. And this is the kind of stuff that I told Janine. I said, let's write about this. And then what she does, she'll send me the lyrics, and then whatever part of the lyrics are a little like fuzzy, where I was like, this is not quite what I want to talk about, but I'm open to work on it. So, and then we go in and we tweak it a little bit. Sometimes I rewrite the chorus or something like that. But a lot of the credit for these particular lyrics go to her.
Oh, really?
Well,
she's super. Both of you, of course. It's a co-creative process.
Well, it was a collaboration, right? I mean, but she is a awesome wordsmith. I can take credit for the production of the song and for kind of writing the music itself, but she gets a lot of credit. I can't. I have to give credit where it's due. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Yeah, and that's I think the
Everybody
magic
go
anyway.
listen to her stuff. She's awesome.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Send me. I'll put her link there too, of course, because she's
Yeah,
a
yeah.
co-creative person in this process. So that's awesome. And I mean, the we'll touch on the visuals as well, because as you said, you also
Oh,
do produce the visuals, but the journey of, as you said, first you have the concept and you share it with your coworker or your partner, and then with Janine, and then now you come to the visual perspective. And at
yeah.
last, I know that you have this amazing kind of like what is it, tutorial or an explanation of how you
Oh,
incorporate AI to create this powerful visual. So can you just touch a little bit on that, of this process and how it's been for
sure,
you?
sure. Yeah, fortunately and unfortunately, that part of the journey, if you will, is all me, right? Because I don't have a production team, unfortunately, right? Like I said, I wish I had the money to go hire somebody to do this, you know what I mean? Uh, it's not like I'm want the control, you know.
Oh,
It's not that. It's because I have to, you know.
well, you have
You
a
know,
nice
like I
setup
said.
back there, though.
Oh yeah, and then there's a whole setup just like this outside, and then there's this computer. Yeah, I'm a freaking nerd, you know.
Awesome.
I gotta get out. I gotta get outside a little more. Uh, I could use a little sun. What was I yakking about?
The visuals
The
then.
visuals. Yeah. So again, I try to marry the story to the visuals, right? So then
Mhm.
I can, and the cool thing about AI, like I know a lot of people are hating on it these days, but it's allowing a guy like me that I don't have a 10 million, $100 million to go shoot this stuff, right?
Mhm.
So then it's cool to be able to use an image or a little clip or something like that. I'm not going to get too deep into those weeds, but so in the case of Fate, I mean, I try to marry. Okay, what's a conceptual a point of view that talks about fate, right? You know, people go and they try to they go to a fortune teller, right? They we're all very curious about what's going to happen. You know, we
Right.
know what already happened, but we want to know what's going to happen tomorrow, what's going to happen a year from now. You know what I mean? So they go to a fortune teller. So then I started with that, and then just revolved everything around.
Oh, wow.
So that's why there's a crystal ball. There's you see a Moroccan what do you call what do they call gypsy? You
Yes.
know, in one of those booths. So God, I'm blanking out here. What's the name of those booths
Oh,
where you go? So it's those booths where you have this guy, and then you put in a coin, and it gives you a little fortune. You know what I mean?
yes,
So I
yes.
try to make those the singers.
Oh, I know. That's so awesome. Yeah. Yeah.
It's like I told Janine, I was like, look, I used your face inside the crystal balls and a couple other things. I think towards the end she appears again. Like I put her face into like this pseudo sci-fi steampunkish visual kind of deal. And but all your backup singers are Moroccan gypsies,
That is so
fortune
awesome.
fortune tellers, and things like that. You know what I mean? And then then just kind of like then you run into the thing. Okay, this thing is like I think 4 minutes long.
That's so
That's a good
funny.
30 seconds worth of a story.
Oh my
How do you
God.
stretch the crap out of this to fit? You know, to have a lot of visuals to keep people interested, to keep me interested. I mean, as you can probably tell, squirrel. You know what I mean? Like my attention goes.
Oh yeah. Well, no, I
So
thought it was so great to watch, and especially like kind of in the spiritual community, like we actually all do love to work with cards to connect with the field. So I think like
yeah,
it
I love
sounds to
that
me
stuff.
like unconsciously you
Yeah,
are tapped into this field because like you said, like I mean, there is a force and we all kind of
yeah,
can
yeah.
tack some information there, but I feel like it's so relevant now in our world where we're catching up to a lot of like science is supporting a lot of what energy is or
Mm,
prayer, like you said,
mm,
belief or not saying belief or, it's like it's just beautiful to see how it shows up in different ways, consciously or unconsciously, but we're all kind of like in this field talking about this, like about the future, or like how you say traveling
Yeah,
back in
yeah.
time. Like these
Or the
themes are,
connection, right? Or the connection that we have. Uh, uh, I think this stuff, some people call it God, some people go to, churches and things like that. Look, I'm all about, okay, respect what, and,
yeah.
you do you, you know what I mean? Uh, Whatever helps you get through the day, right? But, when I really stop and think about it, this is all stuff that we don't quite understand yet.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like, you can think back even up to 10 or 20 years ago, like we were just talking about the phone, you know what I mean? There were things that we couldn't fathom or couldn't understand. And now we understand a lot better, and potentially can't live without, you know what I mean? You know, who created this? Who created it all? Science proves blah, blah, blah. Okay, cool. Okay. But then who created the whole thing from the very, like the very first little galaxy? Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean,
So it's
there's a lot out there. Like when like you're so involved in the music world, but there is just accelerated information and downloads and connecting with
yeah,
other planets
yeah.
and doing, which is like totally up my alley. But I mean, yeah, like,
Well, and now with the technology of being able to send more objects way out there into, like, I was watching something on Saturn the other day. I'm like, and detailed information on what's happening in Saturn. And I was like, oof, it's TMI. Not TMI. I mean, I love it, but it's like so much
yeah,
information.
it is.
But
Yeah, it
yeah,
depends if you're into it. Oh my God, fate, exactly, destiny. And then we go into the power of existence. This is, you have some songs because you are Portuguese descent, born in Brazil, right? But raised in America, but you still tap into your roots. I know that you have the Tree of Life. Can you talk a little bit about these themes
sure.
behind those words? Because I really felt so connected. I did the translation and so true. I resonate.
Poder de existir, right? Because I was born in Brazil, my accent, for anybody listening, is obviously carioca, which is Rio de Janeiro. Carioca is a word that we use like I don't know if people from Jersey or whatever. Oh well, from people from Connecticut, they're called the nutmeggers. You knew this, right?
Yes, yes. Hmm.
So like the word nutmeggers. I don't know where that came from. Carioca is a indigenous word for the very first indigenous people that were in Brazil. They were called Cariocas, the tribe, if you will.
Okay.
So when when we say we're from Rio de Janeiro, we don't say we're from Rio de, we say Carioca, and people know. Anyway,
Mm.
my whole family is from Portugal, pretty much. So and then I came here, but for some reason, the meaning of certain things sound better, and because this is a song that I wrote when I was really young, like I want to say 17.
Oh, really?
It was
Oh,
one of the first little songs I wrote, learning my guitar, and then it just kept getting more and more complex. And then the subject matter, and I think I was in Brazil at the time. I was in Brazil at the time. Was I 17, 18? Yeah, I was. I remember going to Brazil. That's right. And then I went to Brazil and kept writing. Blah blah. The subject matter of that felt really important to me. Once again, because of this whole thing we're talking about, right? Because we have the power. The poder de existir means the power to exist,
mhm.
right? We have the power to, women more so than men, because you guys not only have the power to exist, but you have the power to make
Mhm.
an existing person. You know what I mean? Which is mind-boggling,
I
right?
know, it's
I mean,
fascinating.
I look at a pregnant woman, I'm like, how,
I
how
know.
can you're carrying a human,
I know. It never gets, and then when I look at my children now, I'm like, dude, you were like living in here. Like, that's so
right?
crazy.
We as men, I know we're some say we're half of the equation. I'm like, yeah, kinda. I mean,
I
you
like
know,
your
it's
take
nice
on
to have,
this. Yes, actually, yeah,
yeah, you
respect, right?
know, I mean, yeah, we give the seed and all that. Yeah, sure. But you guys do the hard work, all right?
Thank
So yeah.
you. That's so good to
So
be
again, I'll credit
recognized
where
for
credit's
that.
due. There's stuff that a dad needs to do and does, all right? Not really,
True,
but
true.
whatever. But so that's kind of what the song is all about, is the power to exist in a really abstract way. The being born, existing, and then come to terms with your mortality and aging.
Mm.
It's really weird now that I think about it. As I'm saying this, I'm thinking like, how did I think of all that shit when I was 17? You know.
17, that's so beautiful. And then now at this age that you produced it, that you created it.
Right. You know,
Oh,
I actually now look more like the old guy in the sand trying to, he's trying to put more sand in the hourglass, get it, make more time, you know, kind of thing.
oh my
So
God.
that's what that's about. Yeah. So you open, you open the video with a little baby playing with the hourglass. He's
Yeah.
playing with it. He's looking at it going, okay, what is it? It's about time. And, kind of having that thing. And then as it progresses, you see an old guy either at the desert or in a construction thing, I think it was, and he's got an hourglass as well, and he's trying to feed sand into it
Oh, I love
to
that.
make to have it continue, kind of thing, because he's
Wow.
thinking, okay, yeah, someday soon we're all out of here, you know what I mean? And
Fascinating.
that's kind of, it revolves around that topic basically, is in somewhat abstract but somewhat direct form. I I don't have a form, what do you call a formula
Right.
for
It's just,
it.
oh my God, I love that theme. I think, yeah, for me personally, I recognize too, just thinking, obviously for me, as you get older, you think of this lifespan in a different perspective, but I always connect to knowing that we are ever evolving
Well,
spirits.
you have two kids, you said, right?
Yes, yes.
uh, which is awesome, and so that's a continuation of what you
Yeah, like
brought to the planet, you know what I mean? And don't you think, I mean, what do you think about that?
absolutely. No, I mean, I see it as my spirit, dude. I've been so many past life regressions that I know, like, I see the cycle of my soul. So I see it from another perspective, not just that this ends, but I see it as a continuation. I mean, I don't know. What do you feel about that? Do you believe? I mean, that's kind of deep, but
Well, the short answer is yes. I mean, I have no way of knowing as much as you do, for example, because I don't have kids, first of all, and because I'm not a mother.
hmm
The key word being mother. Okay.
mm,
The cool thing about being a mother is that you have a connection with the human that you made or the human that you are mothering, even if you adopted someone, really.
yeah.
That it's a hard to match. It's hard to match. Like I said, I
Well,
don't know what it's like to, I mean, like, yeah, I imagine being a father is also right up there, but again, I'd be, it would be unfair for me to speculate because I don't have kids, right?
yeah, but I
And
see it more as your soul. Like your soul is here. Your soul wrote this song at 17, and now your soul is producing it at this point of
oh,
your
okay,
life.
in
So it's
that,
like the
yeah,
journey
I
of
mean,
your soul.
in that aspect, sure, yeah, and I write it. The first person I'm trying to communicate that to is this guy, right? If I can
Mm,
communicate that back to me and go, oh, so that's what it means. It's a way of learning something as well. You know what I mean? You know how
yeah.
like sometimes you have to say something out loud for it to stick.
Oh my God. Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
that feels like so I feel like I learned so much from these conversations, because I see when I look at
I
this
know
on
that's what's cool.
paper, I'm like, dude, this guy is like a philosopher. He's so spiritual. And then it's so great to see that we all reach this kind of deeper truths in our from another perspective. And obviously it doesn't have to be like I'm a spiritual person or I believe in this or that. It's fascinating that obviously I think that ties into what creativity is, this expression to be able to kind of like have
How do
these
you
deeper thoughts.
define spirituality? I'm curious because I don't have an answer. If you were to ask me that question, how do I, define spirituality? I can marry it or put it in the topic of creativity, or even like, for example, if I go to my backyard, I have a guava tree.
Mm.
It blows my mind that a tree comes out of the ground and gives you, right, the freaking dirt.
Yes,
And it grows, and then it gives you this delicious, and I mean, my tree
that's
is really good.
amazing.
There's this delicious fruit that you can eat, and it's nourishing, and it's like, how does this happen? I mean, you
That's
know
so
what I mean?
cool.
Of course, there's a
Yeah, it's just
scientific explanation. There's all this other stuff that goes blah 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 blah. Like, I'm not dumb. You know what I mean? Uh, uh, Questionable, but that fascinates me. So like, that's a form of spirituality,
yes.
I think, right?
That's what
But
I
like,
feel.
how do
I feel it's
you?
the non-physical. I feel like for me has been an expansion of tapping into another part of myself that is not seen, not like applied through the five senses. It's more of like this inner, and it is the seeing, as you're saying, this God source of something growing out of nothing is going back to seeing kind of the magic. For me, it's like connecting with my non-physical self. And I've kind of like chosen to go in a path of learning more about this connection to, let's say, my higher spirit, or this connection to past lives or my angelic team. But of course, what you're saying is exactly that. I'm coming back again to, like I told you the last conversation, like from the 3D in a sense, to the
Mhm,
physical more, to remember
mhm.
that we're on planet Earth now, and to experience the physical, to
Yeah,
experience
yeah, yeah. That's
the the
important.
the yeah, like the tangible stuff. And I think it's just a beautiful journey for me to see, like, obviously that you're also, we're all in this space, just obviously from a different angle, I think, in
I
a
think at the end of the day, or all of this is, again, what helps you get through the day and what makes you happy, what brings you joy,
yeah,
right? I mean, I do everything else I do, blah blah blah, to be able to sit down over here every once in a while and put an idea down. You know what I mean? Like a
yeah,
song, an image, a layout, whatever. You know what I mean? Uh, it's not. Sometimes it's not much more than that for this guy, but
right. That's a
some
beautiful.
people, like, they like to buy jewelry. They like jewels. They like to wear something. They like to live somewhere in particular. Like, does that bring you joy? Yep, good, good, go.
Of course. And actually, Henry, I
Life
mean,
is short, man.
this is another question, because he is an expert in the advertising world. We can say that, right? I mean, I'm not going to ask you all the clients you've worked on, but you've dedicated a long portion of your life to understanding an ad campaign, a marketing campaign, making things successful, right? I mean, like, we come from that background. We understand there has to be results. And I feel like in this creative world, I question, and I keep saying this, like, if you're in the forest and a tree falls and nobody hears it, did it still fall? Like this saying that always comes out, right? It's like,
Is there a sound? Yeah, yeah.
right, is the sound still there? So like, you have the expertise, and is your goal to make this music your passion, this and to make this result oriented, because, or to be like, okay, I can apply everything. Is that creativity about reaching the masses, or is it like, do we
That's the
stop
hope.
if it's not heard?
I mean, I think every artist will tell you that the hope for anything they make is to reach other souls.
Right? Yes.
They don't have to be human.
Stimmt,
I'm
yeah.
I'm kind of, it sounds like a joke, right? But like, have you seen those videos of guys out in the field playing to an elephant or to a guitar or to a
Oh,
cow?
no. Oh my God, that's amazing. No.
Yeah, check it out, man. Elephants love Bach.
Oh my God, I'm gonna go have a podcast next to an elephant.
It's not even a joke. I'm not even,
Oh my
it's
God.
insane. And cows, there's this, I think there's this video, I can't remember now if it was the guitar guy that played, I think there's a piano guy that goes out and plays the elephants, and the
Wow.
elephants will stop everything to be like, wow, what is it? You know what I mean? It's
That's awesome.
phenomenal. right? I mean, and then this one guy I think goes out and plays acoustic guitar to cows, well, or to different animals. But like, I think there's a video of him playing to a cow, and the cow is like, "Stop chewing, stop!" It, you know what I mean? It's
That's great,
awesome,
but and that does something for the artist, right? He's like, yeah, somebody's
right?
like digging it.
Right, right. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And so every artist, I'm sure, feels the same way. I mean, otherwise they're dead because you want to reach other souls as well. I mean, there's an element of that. I'm not going to deny that. It's nice to be validated for all your hard work. It's. I just got a text the other day from a friend, an old friend as well. He goes, Henry, I don't know what the heck you did with that Tree of Life song, but that shit rocks, man.
It
I'm like, I haven't done much different than I normally do with the other songs, but somehow that reached him. And here's the kicker. That song is also in Portuguese, and he's as American as it gets. You know what I mean? He's this white boy American,
wow.
probably the coolest kid I know. You know what I mean? He is awesome. He's like this this
Oh,
uh,
that's
this
so
really supportive,
amazing.
awesome dude. But he went out of his way to send me this text when I released, and I was like, "Wow, dude, this made my
The
ear, my
frequency, the frequency. Yeah, Henry, I've been listening these days, literally all of your tracks. Where do we go now? Like, I'm like really feeling that it's also like a meditative high vibe sound. I mean, just this just came to me. Like, do you believe in the love frequency? Like that there is an actual tone
sure."
that, right? What is it, 420 hertz or the
Oh, that I don't know. I don't know if
there's
again, I
supposedly an
think I think
actual
that stuff
hertz.
reaches people differently. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Uh, there's somebody probably scientifically calculated that.
Hmm.
I'm not
That's what they
sure.
say, yeah.
Hey, if it works for some people, if that frequency reaches, maybe I should look it up. Maybe write more songs of those, and I'll be rich. You know
Yeah,
what I
you
mean?
should. Actually, I was just talking. Yeah, you have to look into
Again, there's a danger
that
of
wisely.
that becoming a little box that you get into and then you can't get out. You know what I mean? Like,
Yes. So you're
look,
eliminating the box.
the other day I was working on this one song that's riff based. I started it with a bass, and I was like, okay, this needs a bridge. So then I went out and tried to write a bridge. I wasn't inspired on the bass, so I hopped on the keyboard, blah blah blah. And then what I wrote on the keyboard was so much better than the other shit that I had already written. And I was like, this is an idea in and of itself. So then I took that and I did a save as,
Oh my
right?
God.
And became
Yes.
a new song. You know what I mean? And now the other song is like, sounds like that in comparison, right?
Right.
And I mean, but if I stopped and thought, but is this in the love frequency?
Mhm.
I mean, define love. I mean, like some people love guava. Some people like the other day somebody told me they hate bananas. Really?
To hate, that's hardcore.
I mean, first
I
of
know.
all, hate is kind of a strong
Bananas.
word for a fruit. You know what I mean? There's
Yeah.
like other things you could hate right about now. Uh, but a fruit, it's nourishing. Da, da, da. I can understand you not liking it that
Like
much
it.
or at
Right.
all. But
Yeah.
I hate it. Like, what the hell? Did somebody hit you with a banana? Did somebody try to gag you with it? Choke you with it? What? I mean,
Oh my God, that's hilarious.
so,
That is so
all
funny.
right.
Yeah.
It's like, is there a frequency to get people to like bananas? You see what I mean? Like,
Yeah. Yeah, but I love
because,
to even hear just your process right there because I feel like what you're saying also just in terms of being obviously that we want people to resonate with our creative output,
yeah,
right? That's a given. And when it
yeah.
doesn't, for people that are listening or for somebody like for me starting with a new project or anybody that's like, well, let's see. Like, what do you say through your time of experience? If you can like
Oh,
formulate what that.
everything resonates with somebody. Like, oh, how does that? There's always a what's that thing about like finding a partner, finding a mate? Is there a shoe for every foot? There's a
Oh,
something like that.
oh God, my English, all those sayings are out the door now that I have
But
German
you know what I mean, right? Like
friends.
they
Yeah,
say that
yeah, there's
there's a
something for
name,
everyone. Yes.
right? Exactly. I think that's true. It's just the likelihood of you finding it. That's a whole other a whole other
It's
that
out
is
there
really
though.
you gotta nowadays it's a lot well, I wouldn't say a lot easier, but much easier in the sense that, there's social media. There's the whole internet. I mean, like, for people looking to date, there's a ton of dating sites, right? To
Yeah.
find love, if you will. And for music, there's things like Spotify, which didn't, uh, I think Spotify, as much as they should be a little more fair with the artists, it's
Yeah.
still an amazing idea. It's still an amazing platform that like before we used
Sure.
to be like in a box of whatever the radio plays for you while
Yeah.
that guy's talking over the song,
I
you're gonna be subject to. That's not the case with Spotify anymore. I mean, you have, you know what I mean? It's
I
you build
agree.
your
It's
own thing.
beautiful. That's all it, yeah,
It's amazing.
absolutely.
I
And
mean,
it
like
leads you to one
there's
thing.
there's other things like that. I mean, pretty much everything socially platform kind of behaves that way,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
So to answer your question, I think as far as reach goes, uh, but the drawback of all this stuff happening is that there's a lot more of it.
Yeah.
See, like people didn't make videos before. Now everybody makes videos. You know what I mean?
Mhm. Mhm.
And
Yeah.
music is becoming easier and easier, right?
Mhm.
Even what I have here behind me, for example, wasn't attainable back in 2010.
Mhm.
Not just because of money, but because of the technology itself wasn't attainable enough for an indie artist, if you will. Like somebody with a $10 million studio could potentially buy whatever they needed to make to have artists come and record. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Now I have like, I don't know, 50 grand of software installed in my computer.
Mhm.
You think $50,000 is a lot of money? Yeah, it used to be 50 million. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So now it's
Right.
attainable.
Right. Right.
So all that stuff is more attainable to everyone. The
Right.
social media, so people do it. So there's more of it. So now
Mhm.
it's tougher from an advertising perspective to cut through the clutter,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm. Mhm.
And so then once again, to try to answer your question a little more cyclically, or whatever the word is how do you reach? You got to just put it out there and try to spread it as much as possible. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? And try to find that unique selling proposition, which I think I have a little bit of. It's music that obviously I learned from a lot of people that I stand on the shoulders of. But I think you were mentioning how I go about trying to tell a story and trying to craft a story with the lyrics and the subject matter, and then later on the video. That's kind of my USP, my unique selling proposition. I like to think, right?
Mhm.
And a couple of
Mhm.
people have said that I have a particular style that I sound like as well, which
Yeah,
is
what would you
cool.
consider your genre style? Because I was trying to see, I mean, but you don't like boxes. I know you don't want to be.
That's a question that I'm not sure I'm going to be able to answer. It's influenced obviously by Brazilian music, different kinds of Brazilian music. Brazil is like,
Mm.
people don't get their feelings hurt, but it's probably one of the richest cultures out there with as far as diversity of
Yes.
music.
Hmm.
Samba, bossa nova, and then you go to the north part of the country, and there's like 50 million different types of different kinds of faja and different kinds of music. You know what I mean? It's
Hmm.
insane. It's
Mm.
overwhelming. And different beats and different rhythms and that. It's
Oh,
and so I
beautiful.
grew up listening to that, right?
Yeah.
So all of that gets channeled in there somehow. You can help it. That happens to anyone, whether you're a painter or a musician for that matter, or a sculptor. What you saw, what you experienced, what you listened to, what you read will
Of
get
course.
processed.
Influence.
You know,
Hmm. Hmm.
so it's all in there. If that
Hmm.
answer, and then in the States, of course, I've always loved rock and roll, and I've always loved funk and jazz.
Hmm.
So, and my aunt said that when I was a kid, I used to carry a tray, and I used to go around trying to sell things to people. It was a tray filled with rocks. But in my head, it was a mango, it was a popsicle, it was a lollipop,
Oh,
because I
wow.
liked all these things. So then I put it all in one tray.
Oh, wow.
You
Cute.
you see what I mean? I
Yeah,
liked
yeah.
all those things, and
It
I'm
all
like,
sounds
oh, can it be jazzy and heavy metal? Fuck,
that's the
why not?
best.
Do it.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Can it be funk and bossa nova? Why not? Bring it.
Absolutely. And if
And
it brings you joy, I mean, I think that's the main thing. Like, we have to do this to feel alive. Like, I said something before, like, we started recording. I'm like, dude, this is like about feeling good, co-creating, joy. If it does that, it's about continuing. It depends. Obviously, if you're trying to make a career, it's a different thing. But I think
so
it's a
that
beautiful,
makes it hard to pin down into a style, right?
yeah,
That said, it's not death metal, it's not electronica, it's not hip hop, for
yeah.
example, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you see what I mean? Nothing wrong with those. In fact, like sometimes I'll hear something cool on the hip hop and go, I should try that over here. You know what I mean? Like to go from this, then it drops into that and surprises people a little bit, and then it comes out of it, blah blah blah. But and that again, like that's in that tray with mangoes and popsicles and you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
all the
It's
goodies.
in that tray of like this, kind of thing. Um, so I don't know. I kind of need other people to go listen to it and go, oh, hey, this is pop, this is jazz, and tell me. I mean,
Yeah.
it's all good.
It's all good. So what is your vision then with this? I mean, this is like you have obviously your work, but no, it's both. This is your life. So you are continuing producing and
It's
people can
all
find you on YouTube and
it's
Spotify.
all sort of it's all in that tray.
It's all in the tray, Henry's
all
tray.
mixed in there. Especially, like I said, especially nowadays with the way technology and thankfully attainable technology, both in software and social media and things that we use right now, for example, it all got meshed into one thing. You can go to LinkedIn, for example, and look at people looking for an art director. I don't know how it is for people looking for account folks, for example, but for us, now you have to know layout programs, you have to know video editing programs, you have to know motion graphics, and in my case, I know audio, so I'll throw that in there. And that's what's becoming necessary for somebody to survive these days, to be able to have all these things in your back pocket, right? Thankfully,
Absolutely.
I do those, but geez, I mean, I remember the day it was like all you had to do is be an art director and shut up an art director, like point and do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not quite the case anymore. You know what I
No,
mean?
well, I mean, like you said, obviously I can go on my phone and edit and create, and there's so many options. So you got to stay like
And you're
appealing
doing it. You're
to
not even
the
having to. You used to need somebody like me to tell you what to do. You know what I mean?
No, 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 no. It was the other way
No,
around. You
no, no,
turn
no, no.
right. Yeah, I
I was
tell you
waiting
what
for
to
you to
do.
say that. I was ready for you to
No, that's
get
so
Quinn.
great, Henry. Yeah, and just to really quickly touch on this AI, also with the integration of AI, as you said, you've used it in your tracks, and I just wanted to hear your perspective
Correction,
in terms
correction. All the music is all 100% real.
real. Okay, right,
Me
right.
playing most of the instruments, if not all of them. And I usually get somebody to sing because I sing like an elephant on COVID, really bad. So I need somebody like Janine or other singers that I've worked with, which are equally amazing. But the music is 100% real, right?
Right. And that's a
Of
good
course, I'm
question
using
now. I mean,
technology.
so you're very, yeah. So from that perspective, then comes another producer that can use then audio or like a vocal from an AI track, or I mean, it's very helpful for people that can't
That's
find the
what
singer.
if it works for them, correct? Yeah, I'm
Right.
not opposed to that either. I mean, I
Right.
think when was it? I think last year sometime there was a project where somebody needed music for that one particular video tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, like literally tomorrow.
Oh
Okay,
my
like
God.
what time is it now? Oh shit, tomorrow. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
and they
yeah.
want to see versions and they want to hear, you know what I mean? That's where you go to something like Suno,
Mm-hmm.
prompt something, and especially because chances are this person is going to be satisfied with something relatively popular and,
Mhm.
current,
Mhm. Mhm.
not something with a lot of story like my shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So it's better that way that I'm not having to be the one to provide the music for that. I'm like, oh, you tell me, okay, so what are you looking here? Yeah, okay. How's this? Huh? Yeah.
Yeah,
Ship it.
yeah. For each their own, right.
I know somebody's gonna hate me and want to punch me, for saying that, but it worked. It worked. So I'm not opposed to that. However, I take pride in my stuff and composing and spending the time crafting it and playing it. I'm a shitty keyboard player, so every time I play the piano or keyboards on my stuff, I have to practice for like 2 weeks
Oh,
or
really? You take
longer
a
sometimes.
break?
Oh
Okay.
my God. Just the practicing alone, And nowadays I don't get to practice the instruments I play, like bass and guitar, as often. So then I have to practice that as well to be able to lay down a good solid take, right?
Right, right.
And then I mess with it in the computer, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
that's where technology comes in. So the music is real. The visuals, on the other hand, I utilize a combination of real footage. Like sometimes I'll have the singers sing out the parts
Mm.
in front of a blue screen, right, on camera.
Mhm.
Like a Fate, for example. I had Janine sing the whole thing out,
Mm.
and what you can do nowadays is you use her body singing
Mm.
and run it through AI and put, for instance, the gypsy
Oh,
woman
wow. Wow.
doing,
Silver. Yeah.
so now it's the image of that woman singing the song,
Yeah.
but Janine was the one that acted it out. Does that make sense?
Wow. Yeah, yeah,
You see
yeah.
what I
That's
mean?
fascinating. Yeah.
But I also wanted Janine in this case to be a part of the video. So then, I at one point I took like her face, a photo of her essentially, and I mapped it out onto one of the characters. So then people say, "Oh, so that's her singing." Okay, cool. But then it becomes,
Right.
a
Forms
couple
into
of different people. You know what I
right,
mean? Like depending on the story and the scenario, right?
right.
And that's where AI comes in, and that's where AI makes it facilitates, right?
Mm-hmm.
To help tell the story, to help visualize
Expands
everything.
it, right. Yeah, it's a beautiful
Again,
time just
nothing
to
against anybody that uses a lot of AI nowadays to write music, especially if they struggle with being able to play an instrument. I'm a little bit lucky in that sense. I'm not a virtuoso. I used to be a pretty good bass player in my days when I used to practice a lot. Uh, Not the good as a Marsh. Don't tell anybody. Like I have to practice a lot to be able to play even shit that I did like 10 years ago. You know what I mean? It's crazy. I listen
Wow.
back to that stuff and I'm like, who is that? You know what I mean?
So awesome.
But
Yeah, that you
yeah.
did it. Yeah, that you can
Anyway,
do
enough
it.
of that.
Yeah,
But
that's beautiful. No, I love it. I think we really just went into this kind of sea of creativity. It's always nice just to exchange this information. Henry, thank you so much for your time and just taking us down the path of your creations. This has been really cool, and I'm excited to share that with the others. I'll be putting all of your information on there too, and also the YouTube links to see these videos because it's a masterpiece and it's deep and it's such like a great music to have carrying you through the day. So keep doing it. Keep
like, if
rocking.
anything, the fact that you enjoyed it, I'm done.
Yeah, right. Beautiful.
You're asking me, how do you reach people? How did that, like this? You know what I mean? Like if somebody like you listened to it and got something out of it and enjoyed it to any degree, I'm done. I'm happy.
Oh, oh, absolutely. Definitely. And I'm sure a lot of people are going to be listening to it from this too.
I
So
hope
I'll
so.
be sharing all of your links. Thank you so much. And do you want to say anything to end this off, Henry? Are you good?
Just thank you very much. I appreciate this. Just talking to you is a pleasure, and I
Oh,
appreciate it.
oh, thanks, Henry. All right, everybody, stay tuned for the next one. Ciao, ciao.
Bye, Jess.